shredding season series. Quick update where we're at today. It is a little bit in the afternoon, 2:42 as we speak. And where we are sitting for the day is about 510 calories. I'll show you the food itself here, but protein bar and a bag of chips. Also sacrificed a little bit of calories for some Girl Scout cookies. And I come to you today from a studio in the garage. So we're out here, hope to give you guys a tour of here some point soon. Kind of making some changes after the winter season and reorganizing some equipment, getting some cars out of storage, and getting it ready to be a little bit more of a space for mechanically inclined videos, as well as full days of eating and a fitness journey video series as well. So breakfast again around noon today. So today's Sunday. Breakfast at noon per normal. Weekends can be a little bit more tempting to start food early. However, as I find myself getting more into a groove of consistent eating, the timing of that food, not so much being a big priority for me to time it at the same time, but it becomes a natural cycle, easy enough for me to follow, almost as if your body becomes a creature of habit, which I think might be quite a common comparison you hear for kind of the human element. So again, easy for me to kind of postpone some calories till a little bit later in the morning. That isn't to say that I don't take in something during that time. So usually have about one of these if I start to feel a little hungry, maybe 10:30 or so, but the hunger's not too much, just body looking for, some water, fluids, Gatorade, be a nice substitute for something sweet. Usually another one with the lunchtime, bag of chips, usually about an hour and a half later. So both of those on board against Girl Scout cookies, a new French toast flavor, which is pretty good, pretty tempting. I'm definitely a sucker for sweets during kind of the dieting phase, which helps to incorporate protein ice cream recipes that kind of help satisfy that sweet tooth as well, which we will certainly cover in time. So with 510 calories here today, macro-wise, what that looks like, again, the cookies are gonna throw that off a little bit for us, but we're sitting at 40 grams protein, 20 fat, 50 carb. So we're not too protein heavy as we might be more throughout the work week, but we're still being attentive to that goal being priority number one. And now we're getting ready for the gym. So with that, 12 ounces of water and 2 scoops of the high volume per normal. Today's gonna be a pull day, so it's gonna be more back and bicep focused. Then I have L-theanine, of course, for kind of controlling that caffeine aspect of things. And then I decided to experiment a little bit outside of a zone that I haven't in quite some time with pre-workout. And the last time I had a proprietary focused pre-workout product was actually prior to High Volume. I think PE Science Prolific, cotton candy flavor way back when. And for me, I like to be a little bit more attentive to the caffeine that I put in for reasons of things like kidney stones, dietary concerns, and I'll make sure to touch on kind of the history with that as well. But that leads me to be a little bit more attentive to what I can control dosage on. And of course, dosage determines the poison, if you will. So with stepping out of that comfort zone, this might be a blast from the past for David Lay, Dylan McKenna, kind of that group of guys back on YouTube. We're gonna try some ESP. And it might be a different flavor, of course, than they had way back when, but the big thing about ESP that kind of had me a little hesitant is a dual scoop, so you can see different serving sizes here for a single strong scoop, 2 scoops of 2 small scoops, being a little bit more intense than the extreme. And what they mean by extreme kind of had me a little hesitant again with 500 milligrams of caffeine in that large scoop. So long story short, we're not gonna be doing that. There's no reason for 500 milligrams, at least not for me personally. Others out there might be a little bit more, tolerant of higher stimulant. For me, again, the caffeine dosage is pretty routine throughout the day with maybe a 200 milligram caffeine capsule, and then the occasional milder caffeine drink, 60, 70 milligrams on top. So we're not even really pushing the 300, ceiling in a lot of days. So I'm gonna take that 500, divide it by 3 to equal out ideally what a single scoop will be. And we're shooting a little bit under 170 milligrams of caffeine, right around the 160s, 165. Again, not an exact science, because again, it's hard to be exact with scoop. Content. However, that's what we're shooting for, is that single scoop of ESP. We're just gonna give it a try. A little bit of cocktail here going on with, again, the pump product. The ESP itself will have, ideally pre-workouts will have their own kind of pump ingredients in them as well. This is more of a proprietary blend, for ESP. So something I'm not a super strong fan of. I think you'll hear that a lot from those who are attentive to the kind of the fitness side and the supplement world. Proprietary blends are essentially a means to not tell you how many milligrams, how many grams, what the dosage is for a certain active ingredient or supporting ingredient. So we don't have a lot of window of visibility into that ESP proprietary blend, so we're just gonna complement it ideally with this. And if it backfires on us, it's not great, then at least we had the chance to experiment. But sometimes it's nice to see if we can experiment a little bit more with all reliable as far as the recipe is concerned. So that about does it for getting ready for the gym. Again, we're gonna shake this up, take this down, give it a little bit to start taking effect. Ideally get changed during that time, kind of get ready, and drive on over and get to it. And I'll check in with you guys then. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for checking in. Today is Wednesday the 10th, and I want to take a moment to not only share with you guys kind of current state, food, weight loss, actually a little bit of weight gain, but also show you guys an example, a real world example of what happens during dieting when you have a day that maybe you're not tracking, a little different than a refeed day. We'll get into that as well. However, Monday and Tuesday, I traveled out of town to Des Moines, Iowa for a work trip. And during those 2 days, had the chance to go to dinner with some coworkers, have some catered in lunch. And during those 2 days, was not tracking food. And I want to show you guys kind of from a deliberate standpoint, what happens to weight and kind of how you resume a weight loss journey for days that maybe get away from you in these examples. So with that being said, a quick refresher from Sunday, kind of being one of the last days that we were accurately tracking. We ended at about 1760 total calories, 181 grams of protein. Again, 20 grams off our goal there, a little bit higher in fat that day, but close ballpark for kind of the beginning stages of weight loss. And where we weighed on that Sunday was here, around 237.4. So continuing on the downward trend there on that Sunday. And again, fast forward really 2 days of catered in lunch, like I mentioned, going out to lunch the first day, having some buffalo shrimp, sweet potato fries, kind of a good choice in that first day. And then going out later that night for a couple lighter beers with coworkers and more of a cheese tortellini chicken pasta dish. Again, very high in calories. And the next day, more deli sandwiches, bagels in the morning. Again, more of just a typical catered in kind of food experience from a more of a corporate environment. So again, just perspective for you, 237 on that Sunday, and we come back to this morning, Wednesday morning, weighing 239.8. So that difference, that 2.5 pound difference, that can be quite alarming to most people. And there is nothing wrong, in my opinion, in my experience, when those days do come around. Life gets in the way. You can't, at least from what I've learned, is I can't always justify. Dedication's a very healthy thing, but everything to a fault and everything in moderation in a lot of these ways. So I let life happen when it's meant to happen, in a sense. So that's not a pass to say, a cheat day, a non-track day every week. There is time for dedication, and now until I go back down there in about 2 weeks, that's really hitting the pavement hard, just in preparation for maybe a higher calorie day in 2 weeks when I go back down with everyone. So with that being said, a weight gain of 2.5 pounds, like really scare people, kind of off-put them, all that progress can be lost. At least that's kind of a knee-jerk reaction to that. And what I want to tell you is, in my experience, yes, I weigh more this morning after 2 days, and that's to be expected. However, as I continue to get back on the, trusting the process, getting back on a consistent eating schedule. So today, it's around 5 o'clock, you can see, and we're pretty low on calories. Again, I'm still not very hungry today, even though we had 2 days kind of off schedule. And with that being said, tomorrow, the next day, I'll more than likely return to that weight, if not have a lower weigh-in from then. So long story short, having a non-track day can essentially just put your weight loss on pause, at least from what I've experienced. That yes, you will maybe retain some more water, you'll have more food for your body to digest through, but a single day, 2 days is not going to undo all the progress that you have been making over the last week or 2 weeks or longer. Now, there are other methodologies out there like refeed days, for example, and refeed days are a little different than what could be considered a cheat day, if you will, or even a cheat meal, just because refeed days are typically tracked, and they're meant to kind of replenish glycogen stores, kind of reintroduce a larger number of carbs You know you're still shooting for your protein goal, but you're introducing more carbs on that. The increase in calories isn't really, you know, the same for everybody across the board, but typically a refeed day is going to be tracked, whereas a cheat day or in these, you know, past 2 days would be not tracked, essentially. So this would hurt my progress a little bit more if we were a little bit deeper into the weight loss journey. Again, because you're kind of, you can, in my experience, you can lose a little bit more water weight, you can lose a little bit weight at a quicker pace in the beginning as your body acclimates to the new calories, consistent calories. And as time goes on, your body becomes a little bit more resistant to change, so you just need to be a little bit more attentive to how consistent you are in meeting those calorie goals and how consistent I am in meeting those calorie goals and protein goals. Consistency is the name of the game, and a couple days, a day or two in this example, does not blow a hole in the ship of weight loss, if you will. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Additionally, I'm also going to be shooting some footage on a vehicle repair series. So this is my 99 Acura CL 2.3 Premium that we're going to be shooting some video footage for an alternator replacement, rear pads and rotors replacement, and then a front right ABS sensor replacement, which I have sitting all over here, and some new tools as well. So I will be checking in with everyone here in a little bit, but beginning shooting that video here for the repair.